Let's let it go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well. Good morning. Top of the morning here in LA. Cooling down just a little bit. Anyway, we're in for a great day. You listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live, always with nothing but straight talk. You know how we do it around here. My co-host is the wonderful, the fabulous. You guys know how I do it every week. I'm in the thesaurus looking for an adjective in which to describe him by. I keep coming up with the word. He's just wonderful. He's black and he's wonderful. A radio personality within his own rights, none other than Mr. Keith Swanson. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. I sit at the feet of masters, so I can't help it.
How you doing today?
I am doing well. How about you?
Doing fine. You still sane after all the insanity?
I try to keep my head down and stay away from it. So.
No, I know. I guess it's hard to keep your sanity these days, but thank God we got it. Yeah. Another day of sanity. You better be glad about it, okay?
Yeah. When we have a glow-in-the-dark president, I guess that can happen.
It's just so much happening, so we have to really stay focused on the main thing. That's our health, our strength, and our ability to still be here to try to do something positive and good in the lives of others. So that's what I stay focused on. In fact, Keith, I have basically, people keep calling me about the news. I will not watch it all day. I was in the optometrist's office yesterday, and they had the TV on the news station. I just politely asked, can you all guys find another station? We don't need to sit here in this waiting room and hear this over and over. It's just overload, overload. So one lady thought it was kind of insensitive for me to say it was overload, but it's overload, and people don't realize we have heard enough, we've seen enough, and if people not careful, they will develop callous on their soul. Because of all this stuff, and they get where they won't be able to feel anything, because otherwise you walk around crying all day. So or to shut your tears down, you have to, kind of fight some feelings. But anyway, we have a great show today because we still have a lot of needs. There's still a lot of people we can help, and there's still a lot of things that's going on in our country today. And we have a wonderful guest, one of my special people, who's on our show, and one I know that you dearly love, Mr. King. Always ask, where's Miss Rita? Where's Miss Rita? Well, Miss Rita's in the house today, you all. Miss Rita's in the house. Our guest today is Miss Rita Hall. She's a retiree from the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department, holds a master's degree. In fact, she holds 2 master's degrees, but one is in negotiation and conflict resolution. And don't we need her today?
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
She is an author and president of the nonprofit organization Holy Helping Hands. She lectures nationally on domestic violence and how to stay safe when dating. Well, Rita, you should have put in there how to stay safe when married. I'm just talking.
Stay safe before you get married.
Have to
uh,
always stay in the safety zone.
mm, mm.
Our topic today, we're taking a close-up look at why there is an increase in domestic violence and why women and men both choose to stay in relationship when they are suffering from physical and mental and emotional abuse. And a lot of men are being abused these days, you know.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about learn how to recognize abusive signals in your partner when dating. That's where it really needs to start right there. And when it starts right there, I'm sure Miss Rita's going to tell you it needs to stop right there. There's no point in going any further. Now, if you dating somebody and they abusive, now when they get their license, okay, when they get that marriage license, they feel like they licensed because you my wife now, okay? So it will not stop because you get married. Miss Rita's going to talk about that today. And we're going to look at ask questionnaires. Has the economic hard times caused an increase? I'll be asking who are the most vulnerable and what age group? Where do we go for help? How can we help? And what some of these women, what do some of these women need? Some of the women who are abused, who are in shelters, who are running for their lives. How can we help? What are some of their needs? What do they need? I know somebody going to call up and say, we just need to pray for them. Yeah, right. We do, but they need more than prayer, okay? And you'll find out as the show goes, when you don't have any clothes to even try to go for a job to try to pick yourself up, prayer is good, but it doesn't wrap around your body when you don't have any clothes. So you Christian don't call up and talking smack to me because I know what I'm talking about. I'm a Christian, and I think I'm as about as saved as anybody. But I know prayer works, but I know holy helping hands work when we reach our hands out and do what we can do. Some people don't want to do nothing but pray. They think that's the end. Well, I prayed for them. What about giving some of them suits out of your closet you can't put on? You now wear a size 18 and you got some 12 still hanging up in the closet. I'm just saying, you know.
I heard a Buddhist monk said one time, say God doesn't have a body, God has your body.
That's right. Your hand, your feet, your lips.
Your hand, your lips. Yep.
Okay. Good morning, Miss Rita.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. Good morning, Mr. Keith.
Okay. Como está usted?
Muy bien.
Miss Rita taking Spanish so she can help everybody.
That is true.
Well, Rita, we have you here today. I consider you the domestic violence expert. I mean, you've learned a lot from your experience on the sheriff department and because of your work in your Christian walk with trying to help people. I remember very well when I attended a workshop you did at a church dealing with the domestic violence even in the church among ministers' wives. And it wasn't, I don't think it's been received too well because people don't want to think of the fact that a minister's wife just might be abused or a minister might be abused. You know, we have so many things that we don't want to talk about, but we're just going to talk about domestic violence today. And do you think that there is an increase in domestic violence in women and men? And talk about why they stay in those relationships.
Well, to your first question, yes, I do believe there's an increase. If you look at the state of our nation, we're in a state of depression, and people are not comfortable with where they are. They don't know what's going on. People aren't stable. The economy is not stable. And then we have an administration that is taking money from programs that are desperately needed. You said something a bit earlier about churches aren't talking about domestic violence. And you are so right. That is one of the hardest inroads to make. A lot of churches refuse to talk about that situation. But I would say that there are some ministers like Pastor Ed Robinson at Hope in Christ Community Church in Compton and Reverend Glenn Pace in Oakland, who on November 15th, the day after our event, are going to be talking out from the pulpit about domestic violence. And it happens in our churches. And you said earlier that the church always tells you to pray. Well, as you and Keith well know, there are two types of pray. There is P-R-A-Y, where we drop to our knees and go to our Father. But then there's also the P-R-E-Y, when somebody is praying on you and someone is abusing you. So we need to be in the church able to reconcile the difference. And prayer does a lot. I'm the first person that tells you that. I go in my war room every day. But you have to add action with your prayer. You can't just sit there and wait. You have to make an active plan of escape. But before you make the plan for escape, don't get in a situation. And I teach a course called Dating 101. There are signs that women need to look for before they get involved seriously with a man.
Okay, can we talk about some of those signs?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, to all my beautiful sisters out there, first and foremost, I need you to know that you are a queen. You are the daughter of the king. That means that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. When you come across someone who is not honoring how special you are, because in the Bible it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. We are a gift to man. We're not to be mistreated and misused, but women don't know that. A lot of women are walking around in a state of desperation because they don't know who they are. They don't know that they are wonderfully and fearfully made. So they accept substandard treatment. And one of the things I tell women is men can smell desperation on us 5 miles away. Don't be going overboard and telling him where you live, Big Mama live, where you either work or go to school. He should not have access to you everywhere, because if after your vetting process, you're finding out information about him, if he turns out to be crazy, he knows where to find you everywhere.
Wow, he knows every place that you go, where all your people live. What you're really saying, Rita, is that women and men should not make their move too soon. We see it all the time with people. Time they start dating somebody, they take them home, they meeting their children, and it could be the wrong type of person, scoping your kids out. It's just, we just need to slow our roll down. What you say?
Absolutely, Dr. Milliken. That is critical. And I tell people, when you date, the first few dates, meet him in a public place. Don't have him come to your house because, like I said, if he's crazy, he knows where you live. And people today cannot pick up and sell a house or pick up and move an apartment. So you need to vet that person. And when I say vet, that means check that person out. Inquire about that person. As women, we are talkers. We're great communicators. But we talk too much. We tell them everything about us, and we know precious little about them. So I tell women, interview the man. Find out who his friends are. If a man, and Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, if a man doesn't have one good friend, is he not problematic? Keith?
Oh,
Go
can you
ahead,
hear me?
Rita.
You can hear me? Yeah. He's problematic. Yeah, anybody that doesn't have any kind of network yet is problematic. They should be able to tell you something about themselves. In fact, I always say, don't even go out with a person until you at least talk to them on the phone at least a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And ladies, that's coming from a man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be an eager beaver, ladies. Remember, you are the gift. They are to pursue you. And part of the problem is, as women, we have gotten out of order. We go after the men. That is not how God ordained things. We are supposed to be found. And there are lots of things you can do in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but not only do we talk too much, but we don't watch the signs of how he interacts with other people. I tell people, like, if you go out to dinner, look at how he interacts with the waiter. If he's gruff and abusive to the waiter, your day is coming. If he talks down to the parking lot attendant, your day is coming. He clearly has an abusive personality. And ladies, we need to quit thinking that I can change him, I can work with him. No, you can't. No, you cannot. That's God's job.
Rita, women tend to think that they can pull out their little thermal, their thread and their needle, and I can hem him up over here, I can let him out over here. That's what women have to stop thinking, that they can fix a man. You can't fix yourself.
You know what it is, Dr. Rosie, is that a lot of women, black women in particular, like aggressive men. They like aggressive men, not love, but they tend to like aggressive men. And a lot of men they call nice guys that they think are too soft don't excite them. But they forget there's two sides to both. Like you said, there's an upside and a downside. He might be more exciting, but on the other hand, he might be more violent too.
Wow.
Well, Keith, I would like to say that those of us that are mature and have been around the block a couple of times, we might like assertive men, but we're not looking for aggressive men. And there is a difference. You want a man that makes you feel safe, that if you're somewhere and something happens, he's going to protect you. But what you don't want is when that aggressive man gets angry, that you're the object of his displeasure. You're the object of him releasing his anger. And I tell women, when a man starts telling you within the first few weeks, oh, I've never met anybody like you. Oh, you're just it for me. I just love you so much. Be careful. Yeah, it's very flattering to hear women. Of course, it's nice to be complimented. But why is it that in the first 3 weeks he's madly in love? Because what follows after that is the isolation phase. Because what they do is they want to monopolize all of your time. They don't want you spending time with your family. They don't want you spending time with your friends. Then it escalates to they're telling you how to dress, telling you where you should be, when you should be there. And I just wanted to throw out some statistics for a moment. In the United States, and I'm only doing statistics from the United States, 3 women are killed each day by a man who purported to love them. That equals out to 1,095 women per year in the United States that is killed by a man who said he loved her. Every 9 seconds, a woman is beaten in the United States. So that comes out to be 160 per day of women that are beaten by a man who said he loved them. And I need to make this point known. People tend to think, oh, well, I don't know anybody domestic violence happens to. That happens to those people. Well, those people is everybody. There are recent cases. This summer was horrific for women being killed. Doctors, teachers, it's not people that are on welfare. It's everybody. Domestic violence goes across every category. It doesn't mean it does not care how well educated you are, what type of profession you have, how much money in the bank you have, what type of car you drive, how well you dress, or what zip code you live in. Domestic violence batterers are equal opportunists.
Wow. You mentioned a word, you and Keith talked about aggressive men. Well, let me just throw my little plug in. I like men who are aggressively starting a business or working, okay? I like men who are aggressively working or looking for work or aggressively pursuing your dreams and your business, okay? That's the kind of aggressive man that I like. Now, abuse. There's a lot of people, though, Keith, that's in relationships, you all, who are abused. and they don't even recognize abuse. They don't even know they're being abused. I had a person who went to a seminar on abuse, and she said she was sitting there and she started shedding tears. And the person, the facilitator, said to her, "Wow, this must be really getting to you to see how people are being abused." She was crying for herself because she didn't recognize, because she was with the man who was abusing her because he was very controlling. She said he would come in, and if she had cooked, he would take the top off of the pot. "I don't want this today," and slam it down. If she bought something for the house, he would take it back and get something he wanted. If she moved the furniture in the house, "Oh, this don't look good here," she couldn't even put a picture of where she wanted. He would move it someplace else. When she began to realize all the different ways that a person can abuse you, then she realized that she was in an abusive relationship herself. You know?
Well, people mistakenly think that it's only physical abuse. It's not just physical. It's psychological, it's emotional, it's sexual, and it's financial. If one person in the household, and as we've already alluded to earlier, women are batterers too. If one person in the household is controlling the purse strings, that's abuse. If you're not discussing anything and coming to a joint decision, that's abusive. When you call people names, sometimes name calling can hurt and cut deeper than a physical hit, because the physical hit eventually, for the most part, is going to heal. But those psychological words undermine your self-esteem. Ain't nobody going to want you but me. I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Look at you. You're fat, you're skinny, you're old, you're ugly, you're stupid. Those words cut like a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
Wow.
they do.
Let me give the number out for those who listen would like to speak with us. The number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. Or you can call us here at Innerlight. No, you can email us here at Innerlight, INNER, Innerlight Radio at yahoo.com. You can email innerlightradio@yahoo.com. Keith, I think we have something on the board.
Okay, this is from Howard Pelham. He says, "How do men identify abusive women? Some of these egomaniac women turn violent when they don't get their way with a man. And we don't even have to talk about the dykes, about the gay women. Let's put it that way."
Well, he hit on 2 points. There is domestic violence in the gay community also. So he wouldn't have to worry about that with a gay woman, but another gay woman in a relationship with her would. How do you look at aggressive women? Look at how she talks to people. Look at the tone she uses to people. Is she always calling people out of their name? If she tosses around the B word frequently in reference to other women? See who her best friends are and see how they act. But see, a lot of men, like you said, that we women only go for the aggressive men.
Yep, same thing.
Men only go for the pretty women. See, they don't look at the average woman, the woman that has a kind heart. Her hands are busy doing things for other people. She is clean and neat and has a beautiful smile on her face. She may not be a size 8. She may be a size 14. But then we get what we go after, and we all have to do a better job of vetting people. We need to sit down and decide what our criteria is. For a man, do you want arm candy, or do you want a woman that's going to have your back, a woman who knows how to pray down the gates of hell when you're under attack? Or do you want somebody that you can take somewhere and show off and say, man, my lady sure is fine.
You know what it is, Rita? I could say this for men and for black men in particular. A lot of times men like aggressive women because their mothers were aggressive and they're used to it. And so when they get a woman that's soft and kind and soft-spoken, she's not exciting enough. She's too meek. So you
But
pick
Keith,
out aggressive women. Yeah.
when you say aggressive women, are you talking about women who uh talking back, standing up to you? We really need to redefine this aggressiveness. You know, when we
It,
say men
no,
don't
no.
like women who are soft spoken, you want her to hang up on you, holler at you, curse you out. What do you want?
I
Are
mean,
people seeking abuse?
what I'm saying is, the thing is, if you, it's one thing if it's your mother, because you get spanking by your mother talks a certain way to you. You tolerate that because that's your mother, but you get to think that's normal, and that the woman that you pick is not your mother. Okay, she is not there to protect you like your mother was. She doesn't have the same self control that your mother has,
Ooh,
and
Keith.
huh?
Keith, you have just opened up a whole nother
Yeah,
show
it's a
because
whole nother show.
men and
Thing.
women, I'm telling you, man,
Yeah,
they are a
and,
product
and the
of
same
what
thing,
they were reared in. And that's why we have to be careful
and
how we
and,
conduct
and
ourselves
yep,
in the company of our young men and our young women because
yeah,
they are a reflection of us.
of us, and that's you.
Bingo.
Yeah, and you
Bingo.
find out a lot of guys get into because it matches what you think is normal. Okay, in your household. So your household may not have been violent because your mother wasn't violent towards you, but you get the same kind of feeling when you get into with a significant other, and then you think that you can get away with the same thing you got with your mother. Next thing you know, things kind of escalate. You might have a frying pan flying towards your head because uh, because you knew she was aggressive because she's aggressive with everybody. So it's not like um, you didn't know, but you think that's normal until, like I said, the dog gets off the leash and bites you one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Keith, I think we have
Keith,
something else on the board. But let me make one point. Tim
But
brought a note and he said
mm,
women should not go to the man's house either. You're on his turf. And that's true when you just met someone and they invite
I,
you to their house.
I would love to slow women down and make sure that they take their time. There's nothing wrong with being slow and talking to somebody on the phone or texting them or meeting them in the park or meeting them for coffee over the period of a couple of months where really before you even go on a date, you should get to know that person before you even get to go on the date. But people want to have so much fun and go to dinner and and do this and do that they speed up the relationship because they want to get the goodies.
Wow. And once they get the goodies, then they don't pay
They,
attention to nothing but looking forward to the next goodie spot,
but
okay?
the thing is, if Rita knows because she was a sheriff, um, the only way to get to someplace fast is you run a whole lot of stop signs.
Wow, wow. I think we have a call. Let's take the call and then we're going to go to what's on the board and we're going to come back to our guests. Today we're talking about abuse. We're taking a close look at that. Is there an increase in domestic violence and why women and men stay in relationships where they are suffering physical, mental, and emotional abuse? And we're looking at learning how to recognize the signals in your partner when dating.
Hmm.
When you recognize it in dating, it doesn't stop when you get married. And we're going to, before the show's over, we're going to talk about how to get out of an abusive relationship
Hmm.
without being harmed. That's very important. There's strategies for getting out. You don't get up telling the person, you just give me a week, I'm out of here. I mean, why are you telling people where you're going? We'll talk about that later. But
Hmm.
let's take this call. Go ahead, caller.
Well,
Give us your name and where
good
you're calling
morning,
from.
Keith and Rosie. This is Eldridge Dean. How you
Hey,
guys doing?
Eldridge, how you
Good
doing?
morning, Dean.
Dean?
Pretty good. Yeah, I wanted to kind of tune in on this one. I do have some time. I've been, oh God, busy in the morning for the last 2 weeks. But listen, I think, okay, this is my perspective.
Go, go ahead, spit it
kind
out.
of along
Go
the
ahead.
same lines, a little different.
Uh-huh.
You see, I think, this is my third marriage, by the way, and I'm in love. Okay, I got the best wife I could ever have in my life. Okay, now, with all due respect, my second wife was a very domineering,
Mhm.
aggressive
Mhm.
woman. Okay, very nice inside. I mean, when you got to know her, she's really a nice person.
Mhm.
It wasn't the fact that she wasn't kind-hearted. very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the type of abusiveness and communications, okay, that I know I went through, and then I had children by that union.
Mm-hmm.
And the point I'm making is that men, Dr. Rosie, generally speaking, do not like to be told what to do by a woman, okay? Now, they come in, you got some guys that are very, very cool-headed. They don't let those type of women that are very aggressive, they handle them very well. But sooner or later, when women who have this kind of dictatorial kind of position, you're going to do what I tell you, or I'm going to do what I want. Now, in the case of my ex-wife, give an example. We're talking about buying some new furniture for our home, okay? Living room set, okay? So we discussed it. I come home the next day. She already bought it, okay? I never gave the consent, okay? I said, okay, let's think about it. I thought maybe we'd get some bids in, check to other places. She already did that. That's the way she was, okay? Hey, it's my way or the highway, okay? Now, I'm not saying all women they're a little dominating are that way. She was just a little to the extreme, Well, later I found out, and praise God, we're good friends today. I think she didn't know at the time, but bipolar,
Oh, yeah.
What she was going through. And I didn't know as a man, young man, I didn't go to these, these extreme mood swings. See, nowadays, she's a much, she can handle those mood swings a lot better, and she's a much can handle her emotions. Let's put it that way. She's always been a nice person. Now, the point I'm making,
one of the things that there's a lot of things that women have to learn. That's why they need to take my class. See, I know how to get what I want from a man and make him think it was his idea. I'm just saying, go ahead.
There you go. Now that's, Rosie, we're tracking. That's how, if you want to know the truth, that's the way my present wife handles. She doesn't try to badger me, she wants something. We hardly ever argue, okay? Because that's one of the things we say. Now listen, we're older people now. When it's just me or this recent marriage,
Better say that oxygen to breathe with instead of arguing, okay?
Right. See, so I think the thing that now to the abusive side, you have, I have a young daughter, as a bringing the family together, all the children together on both sides, who got married, who's married. And my son-in-law, he's a very educated. He's got his degree, his graduate degree from the University of Michigan, and she's got her graduate degree from Yale. And they look like an ideal couple, okay? You know what I mean? And yet, what happened, he's from Chicago, South Side, which is, a lot of people from the South Side of L.A. or what. But there's some systemically problems he had bringing up. Well, what I'm really driving to, he put his hands on her, not once, but twice. Okay, and that's basically his my wife mother was just outrageous. But I mean she gave him an ultimatum. You don't you put your hands on my daughter anymore. And even though she's not my biological daughter, she's a daughter to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready also to put my 2 cents in. Now, abusiveness, comes, I think, see how you were raised. Now, I was raised by my mother. Well, my dad was a businessman. He worked. He but I was raised by mother. And mother taught me to be a gentleman. Mother taught me those finer points. A lot of these young men don't get taught that way. I think my son-in-law, what he experienced in that household, because he had brothers that 2 of them went to jail, they're out there hanging.
Yeah.
He's exceptional. That he managed to stay out of trouble go on to school, get his degrees.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? That
still
violence
that
It's still in.
indoctrination.
It's still in
is
him.
still
Yeah.
in him.
Yeah.
You
And
see.
see, Dean,
So-
that's one of the reasons that I try to talk to parents about always hitting their child. You know, every time they do something, you reach out and you hit him. You're showing the child that that's how you resolve conflict. So they grow up
Right.
thinking when people do something I don't like, I'm supposed to hit them because that's what my mother did and that's what my father
Right.
did. And I hear parents say, well, my mother beat me, my daddy beat the hell out of me, and it didn't kill me. You're still stupid sometimes because of it.
Right.
You still have some remnants left over from that. Well, it kept me out of jail. Who said you would not have gone to jail if she had not beat you? We need to stop accepting abuse and that kind of stuff because it really does start in the home. And for many African American homes with 7%, women are rearing their sons and their daughters. So when this man comes up all his life, he's been bossed, a woman boss him, tell him what to do, when to do, how to do, then you really have something that you're letting loose on society where you've been ruled by a woman and you're watching her. She abused you. She abused her children. She hollers at them. She's not trying to. She's angry because, you know,
Right.
the young man asked for money. Money don't grow on trees. Your daddy ain't helping. I mean, she got to give him a whole darn song and dance. This is what they grow up with. That's why our relationships out here are so funky because
Right,
of this
right.
situation.
Yeah.
That's why we need
That's
help.
that.
We need seminars. The churches need to be talking about it. Community need to be hosting forums, teaching people how to treat each other.
That's so true. And I think my final point is that's just it. Say, when a woman can just be at ease, when a woman can feel secured in a relationship, that she doesn't have to have her guards up. You follow me?
Yeah.
She can be vulnerable and express her love and feelings. And the man in the relationship also, you see, he can become vulnerable. He can express his feelings and understand each other. That's what a relationship should be all about, love and communication. The problem with, you know, in all my past experiences is that we didn't communicate that much. Now, my present wife, we communicate more than my previous two wives did during the whole time I was married to him, you see. So I think that's the kind of thing is that men, on the men's side, they have to be willing to say, you know, my woman loves me, she cares for me, so I don't have to have my guard up. I can be open to her, I can express myself, I can show my vulnerabilities as well.
Exactly. And don't always feel like you can't express yourself because a lot of men fear, well, if I tell her really what I feel, it won't be no rambling and tambling tonight. Men need to get their little sexual ego self out the way and they can be a better relationship. Then we got some other call. We always appreciate you. So I definitely want you and Keith to be on the panel when I host the relationship seminar.
If you can't talk to that woman or you're afraid that you're going to lose that woman, then that's not the woman for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Amen. I agree.
She should be on your page from day one. If she's not, date her, but don't marry her.
What about having sex with them?
Huh?
Don't even.
What about having
Don't wait.
sex with them? Because I'm tired of men who say, I'm sick of these black women. That's what then stop having sex with them. You ain't too sick of them. Then don't have anything to do with them.
What I'm saying is what you should do and what you do, you actually do, especially a young man, are two different things. I said what you should do. You know.
Okay, got it.
But you have to take that. But men don't want to take that loss.
Yeah. And if it's gone that soon, then it wasn't for you. Rita, let's go to the board, and then we're going to come back so you can tell us how to get out of these funky relationships safely.
It says,
Go to the board.
Dr. J says, Rita's missing the point here. Some of these gay women will step to a dude if she thinks he's moving in on her woman, and this is real. Yep, that is true, but I don't
What's
think
wrong with that? Men step to, they think you're moving in on their woman. So, I mean, come on.
the biggest. Okay, there's one huge difference. There's a big difference between the strength of a man and the strength of a woman, and sometimes women need to kind of if most men will actually, unless that woman is in danger, will kind of pull that woman aside and keep going. Jumping up in a man, most men are not going to jump up in another man's face willy nilly. Some women don't remember that is a man in front of her.
Man, what does that mean, Keith? Average little man's so weak he don't take vitamins. He's unhealthy. Ain't nobody afraid of a man.
Rita will tell you that women think that until the first blow. Okay, there's a huge difference. We're taking on a man just because don't let TV fool you.
Okay, well y'all talk to me because I've never seen it like that.
When a grown man hits you, it does hurt.
If I hit you, it's gonna hurt too. Okay.
No, there's a bigger difference in muscle fiber and bone density.
Man, I can give you an uppercut that will knock you off the block. You know what an uppercut is?
Okay. You have a whole lot of women that found out differently. Okay.
Let me take that back because we may have some women listen who think that they can do what.
Okay,
go ahead, Rita.
Let me submit this to you. The objective is not to get physical and violent with one another.
True. With anybody, right?
Keith is right. If I hit you, it's going to hurt. But if Keith hits you, he's going to break something because he's stronger than me. And it's not a reflection saying that women are weak, because there are a lot of strong women out there. But pound for pound, they're just built that way because God made them to be the protector of us. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want a man. Because one of the things I say when they say, well, Rita, what are you looking for after a godly man? I want a man who can make me feel safe. Like if something goes down, he can handle it. I don't have to.
Okay. All right, you all heard it. You heard it straight from the expert. Okay, so just scratch what I said because every woman can't do what I do. So I don't want to send the wrong message out there and have you up in somebody's face. But trust me, I would never be up in anybody's face.
No.
But if they happen to come in my face,
I remember a real good friend of mine, a friend of the family, when he was a young man, he was a teenager, right? He asked me how come boys fight and men don't? I said because when men fight they break things. And he said when he grew up, he got into his 20s. He was in a bar and he got a fight, over a woman. He got into a fight, and he said he won the fight, but he said he had a whole lot of bumps and bruises. He felt that for the next week. He said he remembered what I said.
You know what? I want to bring us back in for a minute. One of the things that I tell women, especially young women, say like approaching 30, if they're still single, they get in this rush because they keep saying, well, my biological clock. Forget the biological clock. You don't want to rush into a marriage and have a baby by someone and you find out later that they're a hidden monster. And speaking of the subject of pregnancy, that is the most vulnerable time for a woman is when she's pregnant. Many women have had men jump on them when they're pregnant and stomp on their stomach because they are jealous of the forthcoming child. So you need to be very, very careful in how you do your intel and your vetting of that person. Ladies, I cannot stress this enough. We cannot change a man. If you see those signs in him, he's not going to change with a little piece of paper that said marriage. The only change he's going to make is he's going to be more aggressive towards you, more controlling towards you. We can't love a man enough to change him. A man changes because he loves us enough.
He'll change. He'll change because it's in him. He changes for himself and not anybody else.
And the other thing you have to think, a lot of times when you get in a relationship with the man, he wants to be in a relationship with you. He believes that you and he is enough. He's not interested in that third party. And many times women do not even discuss whether this man wants a child by her, underscore by her. or not. She doesn't even interested in that. She's selfish many times. She wants to have this baby because she thinks this is going to really make this man love her more, going to make him be around her more. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that women can make.
Right.
I believe pregnancy, bringing a child in the world, should be consensual between the mother and the father.
It should be.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back. I think we have we're going to take this call now. We'll talk about how to get out safe. And we're going to talk about, Rita, something you have coming up to help women who have been abused, battered women. You have a program coming up, and we really want to talk about that. Go ahead, 323.
Yes. What I was going to also say about relationships, from what I see, it should be a culmination of two people who have built a bond over a period of time that enjoy being around each other instead of hooking up. And in the case of the woman, and maybe even the man, but the woman more so, what I've personally found is they want to jump into a relationship because they don't want to be alone. But what they don't realize is the more that you do it for the wrong reasons, the more that you're going to be alone anyway. And
That's true.
Loneliness is a state of mind. If you have an active life, you don't have time to be lonely.
Okay, get busy. Right on.
And me personally, the moment I feel that I'm going to have to put my hands on her, it's time for me to leave her alone for life. Not
that is
even
true.
a hello.
That is
but
true.
a lot of guys don't reach that, and part of the reason why that you have domestic violence is that is that a lot of times guys let certain things go with women.
You know why that is?
With some the sass and all that, they think that's cute. But eventually, it reaches a point where he feels that he can't regulate it. Then the next thing you know, he would go to violence when that becomes even worse than if he would have just took a look at her and realized that this is not the right person. I think sometimes we try to force things to happen. And,
well,
when you have sex too quickly, it kind of glosses over a whole bunch of ills.
And when you start looking at the woman like a body part of an automobile, when you start looking at the headlights and the rear end versus looking at the soul, the body, then these are the type thing that it leads to. But Carla, thank you very much.
You got to look under the hood. You got to look under the hood.
Got to look under the hood. Now look under the hood. As they say, don't care how shiny that car is, don't care what the transmission is like, the headlights and the tail light. If that motor is no good, you don't have a car. So
you ever notice the shiniest car on the car lot is probably the worst car on the car lot?
Yes. And one last thing, the hardest thing for a person to do, I am just going to use the male, is to walk away, but that might be the most important decision you make. When you feel you can't walk away, then everything else goes in a downward spiral.
Yeah,
that's right. If you can't walk away, that's what you call being sprung, and you're headed for trouble.
And also
both sides.
Low self-esteem too.
No, it's sex. You get addicted to sex, it'll make you put up with a whole lot of stuff that you didn't, and that's when things kind of go too far.
Exactly.
On both sides.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Let me give one announcement.
I hope you are listening.
I hope so. It's coming straight from men. You know, you're hearing from men today. Let me throw out this commercial here. Speaking of women, we're hosting a Women Financial Forum that's taking place October 14th. 2017 from 9 to 12 noon at the New Power of Love Ministry. That's at 1430 West Manchester Avenue. That's just west of Normandy, next door to McDonald. You really want to be there. The reason we're putting this financial forum on, Keith, because we think it's so important for women to empower themselves from an economic standpoint, because she's the most likely 70% based of black women head a household. She's more than likely to be the one who take her parents in when they become ill and age. Most times she's the one rearing the children. And if she's more financially stable, it will help her in rearing her children and especially her sons. When they come home with items that she know that they didn't have a job to get, she won't be easy to turn her head as if it's okay when she has economically empowered herself. So this is a very important called the Women's Financial Forum. Why now? It is very important. You will learn everything that you need to know about money, about investing, about retiring, about business, what you need to know as a woman to empower yourself and be financially stable will make a difference, because I'm sure Rita can agree that a lot of these women in abusive relationships, some of them hung in there because of financial insecurity or because this person was providing for them from an economic standpoint, something that she felt she couldn't provide herself. So she's feeling, I need. So a lot of people is more of need than love. So I just wanted to throw that out. You can call 323-750-3592 for tickets. It's only $20, a small $20 investment that could save, improve your life forever. The Women's Financial Forum. Why now? So give me a call, 323-750-3592, and I have a lot of new information that I'm going to throw down that day. So you don't want to miss it. Call your girlfriends, and you all need to be there. I'm looking to see you. Miss Rita, I want you to tell them about what you have coming up and how we can help you.
Okay. Also Saturday, October 14th, my organization, Holy Helping Hands, in conjunction with cities around the United States, are hosting our annual Handbags of Hope Across America. And what that is my Delta sister, Carolyn White Washington, who lives in Maryland, and I were talking one day about the sad state of domestic violence in the United States, and that there's not enough shelters, there's little places for women to go. Well, we came up with Handbags of Hope, and we're asking women to donate new or gently, and I do mean gently used, nothing that you're throwing away because you don't want it or it's trash, but gently used handbags. Fill them full of toiletries such as soap, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, comb, brush, shampoo, conditioner, lotion, chapstick, sanitary products, and a $15 gift card. That's the day we collect those items in the purses, and we have domestic violence shelters come pick them up. Because when women leave a violent situation, many times they leave with only the clothing on their back. And that handbag is a sign of hope for them, that somebody cares, somebody's thinking about them, and they can make a brand new start. And Dr. Rosie, I see that we're running short on time, so there's some things that I want to get to really quickly. Women, if you have not done your homework like we have been telling you, and you have not properly vetted these men, and you find yourself in a violent situation, you need to have an exit strategy and an emergency escape plan. You do not telegraph that to the man, because that, other than being pregnant, escaping is the most violent time of a relationship when you're in a relationship where you're being battered. You need to quietly put away some money. You need to quietly be making plans to have a place that he does not know about. That is why earlier in my presentation, I spoke about he should not know where everybody lives, because then he can go and find you. And also, nowadays, people aren't just killing you. They're killing your family, your coach. Yep. We see it every day, where people will go to a job like that teacher that lost her life in San Bernardino. She was in class teaching her students. Her ex came to the class, shot her, the bullet went through her, and killed a child. Domestic violence impacts everybody. People can no longer say, oh, well, that happens to those people, because we're all those people. If I am with a girlfriend and she's being battered and bruised, and her husband catches her with me, He's not going to leave any witnesses. So everybody needs to get on board with getting educated about domestic violence, speaking out about domestic violence, and doing something about domestic violence. So I'm asking people to join Holy Helping Hands on Saturday, October 14th at 1019 North Harris Avenue in the city of Compton at the Hope in Christ Community Church on the corner of Rosecrans and Harris Avenue. Pastor Ed Robinson and his congregation has welcomed us there for the last 3 years to speak out about domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, he will be talking about domestic violence at his 11 a.m. service. He is one of the few ministers I know, other than my friend Pastor Glenn Pace in Oakland, and his church is First Truth Missionary Baptist Church at 2750 73rd Avenue in Oakland, who have the wherewithal to speak out against domestic violence. So I'm hoping women can join us that day and bring a handbag filled with the aforementioned items. Or if you can't bring the handbag, if you could go to the 99-cent store and pick up those items. If you could donate a $15 gift card to somewhere like Target, Marshalls, Walmart, and people say, well, why a $15 gift card? So that they can buy underwear, because we can't know the sizes of underwear that the women are going to need. So
Right.
I wanted to make sure I got that in. And Keith, you had brought up a point earlier about what people see in their homes. And I tell people all the time, domestic violence does not only impact the woman. What growing up in a domestic violence house does, if you're a boy, it teaches you it's okay to beat a woman. If it's a girl, it teaches you to expect to be beaten as a woman. We need to break that cycle. Ladies, don't think that you're staying there for the benefit of the children. You are doing a detrimental damage to your children if you stay in an abusive relationship.
You know, as Zanona Clayton always say, one good parent is better than two bad parents. That's powerful.
Very true.
That's powerful. And Rita, for what you're talking about, that's one of the reasons we're doing the Women's Financial Forum called Why Now? We want women to be economically empowered so they can get out. And as I said last week when we talked about the Harvey hurricane, I'm sending this message out. Every one of you need to at least have a credit card with $1,000 limit, at least that. In case even a disaster occurred in your city, you could at least put gas in your car, rent a motel, get you something to eat. We cannot walk around. When you are broke, financially devastated, it puts you at the mercy of too many people. That's why we're doing the Women Financial Forum. Why now? Because I don't care how little income you're operating on. We can show you how that you can put some money aside. That's very important. Your life is more important than the home or the apartment that you live in. There may come a time in your life when you may have to leave the state. Your life is more important than anything you can leave behind, but you don't want to leave broke. That's why you want to be at the Women's Financial Forum. Why now? On October 14th. Give me a call, 323-750-3592. And for those who listen, this show is going to re-air at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I suggest that everyone that's listening, email, Facebook, text, do whatever you need. Whoever missed this call, I mean, Rita gave out some very important information. We had men chiming in. This is a show that needs to be heard by women all over the world. And Rita, you're just awesome. I just appreciate so much what you do. And you know what you're doing. I mean, you're not just not talking off the head. You've seen it. You know, we saw just last year when this man went to, I think it was father's wife, father's house, and she ran out the house back east. I think it was Maryland. She escaped, but they were all killed. And then he went on to one of the other relatives' house and killed somebody.
Yeah.
Violence, this domestic violence is real, you all. It's real. And when you recognize it in your children, in your family, and what they saying now, when you see something, say something, you all need to say something. So, Rita, you want to give a closing thought?
Well, I would just like to reiterate that on Saturday, October 14th, Holy Helping Hands, in conjunction with cities around the nation, Las Vegas, San Diego, Seattle, Bowie, Maryland, Trenton, New Jersey, we are all hosting Handbags of Hope across America. We need people to donate new handbags filled with toiletries such as soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, sanitary protection, and a $15 gift card, and meet us for the Los Angeles event. We will be at Hope in Christ Community Church, Pastor Ed Robinson, and the address is 1019 North Harris Avenue. It's on the corner of Rosecrans and Harris in the city of Compton.
Rita, do you have a phone number, and is there a place they can drop that off if they cannot come to your function? How can you get these bags and what you're asking them to put in? Is there a drop-off place?
Can we use your store as one of the drop-off places?
Yes, you can.
1425 West Manchester Boulevard, Los Angeles, California.
And that's just west of Normandy. Just west of Normandy in the shopping center next to Burger King.
For the phone number, people can contact me at 323-863-3747. That's 323-863-3747. And our event is Handbags of Hope across America.
Does your organization have a Facebook page?
We do, but Keith, I'm not real adept at that. I'm looking for a young person to be my techie person. But they can always reach me on Facebook.
Okay.
Rita Hall.
All right.
Okay, Rita, thank you. Go ahead.
The amazing thing is that several people have saw what we're doing, and they have sent in donations, and that's a blessing because the more money that we get, the more gift cards and toiletry items we can provide.
Well, okay, Rita, thank you again for being our guest. I would definitely go up in that closet and pull down one of those purses. I have too many in the first place, and if I didn't have too many, I still have enough to share. So I just need to go and get that gift certificate and go to 99-cent store and fill it up. You all, come on, it's time. Let's get busy. Rita, thank you so much. We love having you on the show. Keith's been missing you, so he got you back today.
It's harder to get her now. It's harder to rein her in.
I know. Thank you so much. You all have a great day. Spread the word, 9:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you missed this show, you can go to innerlightradio.com. Go to INNER, innerlightradio.com, and you can listen to it again. Thank you, and please share the word.